Thank you.
Rookie class. I mean, you've gotten some really strong contributions from pretty much most of them at this point. I mean, how have they kind of come along? How have they developed in your mind?
Yeah, that's an awesome question, Nikki. I think what makes me think about those guys first is like the maturity of this group. And they have, really leaned into one another and spend a lot of time together, whether that's, I see McCaffrey and others that just on the field, off the field, just spending the time. But they were really ready for the challenge. And I think some of that comes with their maturity. A lot of them have been 4 or 5 year guys into that space. So they've really bonded. And the older guys have a lot of respect and regard for them because of the way they compete, and they can be counted on. I think the older players, that's what you want to see in a young guy. Can this guy help us? Will he be the same? Will he deliver? And so when they're able to do that, that's a big deal.
First, I'm curious how you came out of game feeling. What's it like for the Ridge a few days later, and what's the aftermath of that game?
I'm still intact. I feel good. It's taking it day by day.
We haven't talked to you since obviously the end of the game, and you were taking it all in at that time. How were the next 24 hours, 48 hours or so, fun blowing up, things like that?
I mean, it was pretty normal for me in my life as far as my standpoint. Maybe throughout social media, other stuff that's kind of different, but just how I went about it the next day and yesterday, it was kind of just in the past. I was on to the new week, so that's how I took that approach.
People still forget you're only a rookie. You've played 8 games in the NFL. How are you still learning and growing?
Yeah, I think just little nuances. Obviously, I face different coordinators every game, so they're still trying to get to know me. I'm still trying to learn how teams might try to play me. Every team is different. Every team has a different scheme, different talent, different players. So just still trying to go through that whole year of, okay, this coordinator might try to play me this way, and go from there.
Moving on to the injury report, we're going to start with us, of course. Starting at the top, Zach Ertz, he obviously got his weekly rest day on Wednesday, so he didn't practice today. However, he's going to be good for Sunday's game. Cornelius Lucas, he suffered an ankle injury on Sunday against the Bears, and after the game, he was spotted with a boot on his leg. So that kind of signifies that he's probably not going to play on Sunday versus the Giants, which is very unfortunate. Corn Lucas has been really good for us at left tackle this year, and when he came out of the game and when Trent Scott replaced him, you could clearly see a difference between Trent Scott and Cornelius Lucas, man. I mean, Jaden, his clock was getting sped up. he didn't have enough time to process his reads at time. That's because Trent Scott was just, getting beat out there. And he committed 2 false start penalties on Sunday versus the Bears as well. So, it sucks that Cornelius Lucas is most likely, maybe he does practice tomorrow and Friday, but, it's looking like he's not going to play on Sunday against the Giants. We'll see with Cornelius Lucas. Obviously, we're going to monitor him throughout the week, but it's looking like he's most likely not going to play on Sunday versus the Giants. Frankie Louvu, shin injury, didn't practice today. I wouldn't worry too much about his shin injury. If he doesn't practice tomorrow, then I would start to worry. But today, Frankie Louvu, obviously one of the best players on the team. Today was a light practice, so I don't think they felt the need to really practice him today because, just don't want to give him extra work and then maybe aggravate the injury a little more. So wanted to give him a rest day today, get off that shin a little bit, come back tomorrow and Friday and be good to go for Sunday's game. So I think, Frankie Louvu, he should be good for Sunday's game. And then everybody else, Brandon Coleman was limited, so he should practice tomorrow and Friday. And if he practices tomorrow and Friday, he'll probably get cleared by Friday and play on Sunday, which is really good. And we're going to need Brandon Coleman because we cannot afford to have both of our left tackles out in Coleman and Lucas. So we need at least one of them. And Coleman back should be really good for us. And then Jaden, rib injury, he was limited today. Jaden's going to be fine. That rib injury might be something they deal with all season long. Might be something they monitor all season long. However, as long as there's no setbacks or anything, re-aggravations, he should be fine. So limited today. Today was a light practice, so didn't want to put a heavy workload on him. He was a little sore after the game, but that's with all guys. You expect to be a little sore. So Jaden, he's going to be fine for Sunday's game. And then Brian Robinson, hamstring injury. That's actually very interesting right there because there was a period in the Bears game where B-Rob was actually out for a good amount of time, and Austin Eckler and Jeremy McNichols handled the workload. So maybe that's the reason why B-Rob was out for a bit with that hamstring injury. Maybe he was getting some work done on it, and then later on he was returning to the game. So, we'll see with B-Rob, but he was limited today, so looking like he's going to play on Sunday. However, he is a guy to monitor. And then Olamide Zaccheaus, he's also dealing with a hamstring injury. I think he's going to be fine for Sunday's game. And then Terry, ankle injury. He was full today, so he is good. So that is our injury report. Moving on to the Giants injury report. They got a pretty lengthy injury report. However, going to be focusing mainly on 2 guys here that did not practice today. Let's start with Tyrone Tracy Jr. He suffered a concussion against the Steelers on Monday Night Football. He went crazy versus the Steelers. He had 140 total yards. However, did suffer a concussion in that game, and he is in concussion protocol. And typically with concussion protocol, if your concussion is super, super mild, then you do have a chance of returning that same week. However, with the new policies and rules in place, you're basically guaranteed to miss at least 1 week. So Tyrone Tracy Jr., he's probably going to miss our game on Sunday, which bad for the Giants. However, that is really good for us because, we've struggled stopping the run this season. James Conner, he had a good game versus us. The Bengals running backs had a good game versus us. Devin Singletary in week 2 had a really good game versus us. And Tyrone Tracy, running back 1 now with Devin Singletary at running back 2. So Singletary will most likely get the start at running back 1 for the Giants on Sunday because Tyrone Tracy Jr. is most likely not going to be available for Sunday's game, which sucks for them, but it's good for us because, like I said, we struggle with stopping running backs. On Sunday versus the Bears, DeAndre Swift, he had a really good game versus us, although I would say that he really didn't start to get going until the second half, but once the second half hit, he was kind of getting going. He had that long 51-yard run, and then from there, he was doing a good job of running the ball on us. But yeah, Tyrone Tracy Jr. potentially being out for Sunday's game, most likely going to be out for Sunday's game. That really benefits us because we do not have to worry about him. And he's been really good over the past couple of weeks for the Giants, really since the Seahawks game. And I want to say that was week 5 for the Giants. So, it will be good to not have Tyrone Tracy play. Good for us, but not good for the Giants, obviously. But, really good for us. And then Josh Ezeudu, that is the Giants' starting left tackle. Obviously, we know that Andrew Thomas, he suffered a season-ending foot injury, so that required surgery, so he's out for the season and will be out for this game, obviously. And Josh Ezeudu, he isn't a great left tackle, and honestly, you would kind of hope that he plays because he isn't a great left tackle. However, if he doesn't play, then I think it'll be Evan Neal who gets the starting left tackle spot for the Giants for Sunday's game against us, which, I mean, both guys are bad. If I were the Giants, who would I rather have? To be honest, both, like I said, they're bad. Maybe Evan Neal because, he was a first-round draft pick. However, his career, pretty much flopped. He's pretty much a bust. However, Josh Zudu, he's pretty bad. He looked pretty bad versus the Steelers on Monday night. He was getting terrorized by TJ Watt, which isn't a surprise. I mean, it's TJ Watt, but still, he was getting terrorized by the Steelers edge rushers, not only TJ Watt, but also Alex Highsmith. So, Josh Zudu, he's pretty bad. However, they already lost Andrew Thomas to the year, so losing Josh Zudu to this game would be really bad. So, that's just another blow to their left tackle depth if he doesn't play on Sunday. So he's definitely someone to monitor this week. And then everybody else, Bryce Ford Wheaton, Jamie Gillen, they aren't super important guys to, really watch, although Jamie Gillen is their punter. So I guess if he doesn't play on Sunday, then they got to elevate a punter off their practice squad, if they do have one on their practice squad, or sign one from the street. So we'll see. Dexter Lawrence, he got rest today, so he's going to be good to go. And then everybody that was limited, you see it, Brian Burns, Jermaine Illuminor, Cordell Flott, Troy Hawkins, Adoree Jackson, John Michael Schmitz, and Ty Summers. They will all be good to go today. Well, they were all limited today, but I think they'll all be good to go for Sunday's game. They don't have big injury concerns. So that is it for today's video. Hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, leave a like down below, subscribe, turn on notifications. Like I said, I'm on the road to 4,000 subscribers, so if you could hit that sub button, I'd really appreciate it. And other than that, it's been King Sean, and I'm out. Peace.